the most of these private schools, and I'll go deeper into international schools. They look into the subject expertise. Like, are you like really qualified to teach the subject? Are you passionate about the subject? I'd say that as well. So remember, the first point is passion for teaching. Then the subject expertise. Are you qualified enough to handle the subject? Are you confident in yourself in handling the subject as well? So in-depth knowledge and expertise in one or more fields of study are highly valued in private schools. Then teachers are well versed in their subjects. Teachers who are well versed in the subject can provide a high quality education to their students. So they believe, most of these institutions believe that if you how you present yourself, if you're so passionate about this subject, you'll be able to like deliver. Your delivery will be at top notch. So that is this second ideal qualification I would say these institutions look at. Then the third point is the experience in extracurricular activities. You find you have like two or three of you in a panel, you're doing an interview for a teacher of French. Then you ask, like, what else are you bringing on board as a teacher? Sometimes, okay, sometimes people assume that, okay, I'm a teacher of French, I have a bachelor's degree, that's it. So they look into more than that. Like, what are you able to present? Luckily enough, with Maseno, what I would say is Maseno is really marketable out here in terms of, if you're looking for a school like to teach, and the qualification you're from Maseno, it's a top notch. Here is why. Like, you're top of the list. Here is why. The IT aspect is one marketing tool I'll say we have, the IT aspect, because nowadays schools are getting, like, we are getting into the 22nd century, and schools are inculcating the use of IT, and all those medium of learning that is IT related. So one, if you have that as is a plus. So that is one of the, like, than just being a teacher of French. What else are you bringing on table? So that can be one as a plus, being from Maseno. Then another thing as well is like, how far do you go in terms of, let's say you have other maybe what do you call, skills, other skills in terms of co-curricular activities like sports. It could be skills on how to hand make something, because these schools have clubs and activities that they incorporate into learning. So if you have that as a plus, it will be like, if you have that, it will be a plus in your search, and you're seeking for to teach in these international or private schools rather. Then another thing I would say on the teaching experience, they look at the years of experience. And I wouldn't want to say the years of experience to limit most of you, because you are still students, and still getting getting like to venture into the field of education. So some they have institutions which like take up young teachers, young innovative teachers. So you really have to be outgoing. You don't have to just present papers alone. You really have to be outgoing in terms of, like, if you're in for the interview, like, have something that stand out in you, not in terms of physique, but in terms of what comes out of your mouth as you present yourself. Like, how exactly are you presenting yourself? So this is one of the things I really want you to look at. So let's say you're looking for a job, and you of course you don't have the years of experience. You're just fresh from campus. So I'll give an example with the institution I was in at first, and that was Jabali Christian Schools. That was my first station in Nairobi. And remember that time, I'd actually just finished campus. In fact, I did my interview even before graduation. But I remember what I presented during the panel was, I believe in myself. I believe that, like, I'm able to take up the role of a teacher of French. Like, how you present yourself matters a lot. So with that, and I was just told to bring my papers and all, without connection whatsoever. So that is one of the opportunities. So in terms of years of experience, of course, start in the subjects, having taught for a number of years. Then we have some institutions that will take you up. Like just have as I've mentioned, when I was in Jabali Christian School, I was in the school for like 3 years. As well. So we have those two options. We have schools that will pick you in, will take you up, even if you don't have the experience. We have institutions that will want an expertise. So that means that's just to tell you that you should not limit yourself into assuming that all institutions look out for experience. We have institutions which will take you up. It doesn't matter your years of experience. It doesn't matter your qualification, but as long as you believe in yourself and you can show the papers like you are a fresh graduate. And this is mostly to addressed to the fresh graduates or someone who is maybe on long holiday, you're trying to look out for something to get hold on as you wait for resumption of school, or just a fresh graduate who's waiting to take up an opportunity. Then one thing I would say to fresh graduate is don't how do you call it? As young as you are, you shouldn't limit yourself into something like specific. For example, as for me, when I finished, there was that assumption that once you've done a degree, you should be teaching in high school, which is quite okay with the number of people. Like they finish high school, they finish campus rather, then join high school. Very okay, because that is what you studied in and all that. But as for me, when I left campus, the first opportunity I got was at Jabali Christian School, and it's a private school, but it teaches like it's a private school, junior school, primary school. So that is the for my first session, and I'd say I didn't look at it like I'm going to teach kids. There's that perception, or there's that notion that if you teach kids, you're less qualified, or if you teach the primary school, you have less qualification, or something like that. So you shouldn't look at what people say, but look at what you want, what is your goal at the end of it all. So that was my first experience, my first institution in a private school as a primary school teacher teaching French. So just that is just to mean that you shouldn't look out for opportunities that strictly fit your qualification. Be open, be like just be open to take up an opportunity that is, as long as it will be worth your time. It will be worth, because you're still young, you're still learning. So take it up. It won't like not, there's nothing worth that, there's nothing bad that will happen. So once you ask yourself, like, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen if I take up this opportunity? So I asked myself that when that opportunity presented itself, it's a primary school, yes, and I was looking forward to teaching in a high school. But then I asked myself, like, what's the worst that can happen? Of course, there's nothing that could have happened as worse as I can imagine. So I just took it up, and it laid a foundation, and it has been like a journey in my professional field. Of course, I've listed a number of schools here, but I haven't listed others that I got regrets from. So it's not a walk in the path. I would say just take your take your time. Apply for opportunities. With the ones that come, grab it. Let it be a working. Let it be a foundation. Let it lay a foundation in your career life. So don't look down on opportunities. That's the main goal, or main thing. Then another thing that private schools look at is adaptability and innovation. So let's say adaptability in terms of like, are you able to adapt into the culture of the institution? Of course, before you go for an interview, the most important thing you need to check out for is you get to know about this institution, get to know where is the school located, what are the principles that guides this institution, what are the what do you call it? The principal that guide institution. You can even like learn the school motto, the school vision, the school mission, so that when you're getting into the interview, like interview panel, you already know about the school and the culture, or some of the culture that is that drives the school. So as you're answering to the questions, or as you're responding to the questions, are you able to adapt to the school? So those are some of the things that they look at. Most institutions look at your adaptability and your innovation. Don't just be a teacher and you're like doing the 844 system of learning and all that. You're going to look into the difference the difference in teaching, in terms of the difference in terms of teaching in between the mostly majorly in the international schools, because I won't dwell much into the public sector. I'll dwell much into the private sector. So the much of the difference in how the system is laid out, how the education is laid out, or how the curriculum is laid out. Then, that is on adaptability and innovation. Then we have the commitment to professional development. So you find a number of these institutions. I'll give an example. I was at Nova Pioneer. While at Nova, I got chance, or rather, I got the opportunity to be like to develop in my professional journey, because we have those PDs. PDs called professional development, like skills. The days you're taught the skills to like you're equipped with skills, IT skills. You're equipped with the teaching modernity. So that is the commitment to professional growth. So are you, as an individual, are you committed to having ongoing professional development stages, or rather teachings, the training that happens in the school? So you have to be, as young as you are, I don't think there should be anything that will limit you to have professional growth, or rather professional trainings. Then other than that as well, schools will look out for someone who, like, what else are you bringing on board in terms of even equipping your other colleagues with skills and all that. Then we are dwelling deeper into the idealistic passion of the institutions. So private schools seek individuals who are idealistic and passionate about the teaching profession, as I've mentioned earlier. Then coming to this learning system, it's more of student-centered approach. Okay, I've interacted with CBC. So I'll say CBC is also more of learner-centered, but I'll put in more focus into the private sector. We find the learning approach. It's more on student. It's a student-centered approach. A focus on an individual and the needs of students. So you find, of course, in a classroom setup, we have learners who are from different, like who will need more attention, who their students who will, they're skilled, like they're talented, or they're skilled differently, and even their way of learning should be different. That is now how international schools operate. There's that bit on what do you call it? The differentiation. This is where the differentiation comes in. In a class, let's say you have a classroom where you have like 15 learners or so. So you'll have to, as you're doing your lesson preparation, you should focus on the differentiation, like how best should you meet each and every child's need, because not all these learners will not have the same like the same learning approach, the same like you'll not, the way you deliver your lesson to one learner is not the same way you'll deliver the lesson to another group of learners. So there's that bit of differentiation, and it is the most valued or component in private or other international institutions, especially international institutions. That is why, like, you have to do differentiation in your lesson planning. You have a learner who is maybe autistic. You have a learner who is having another condition. You have the middle ability learners. You have the low ability learners. You have the high ability learners. So you also have to incorporate all of them in your lesson plan. So as you're doing a lesson plan, there's that differentiation, and it's the most important skill, because learning is more learner-centered. Then strong ethical values. So on these strong ethical values, if I'll dwell deeper in it, is are you disciplined enough? Like, are you okay, for a teacher to be in a private school, one thing I want you to put in mind is like, how disciplined are you in terms of attendance, in terms of class attendance, in terms of reporting time, in terms of like discipline, in terms of even upholding the school moral principles, the school culture. How disciplined are you as a teacher? Are you able to align your values with the school values? So that the strong ethical values are really, really important as you're looking out for these opportunities in international schools, or rather in private schools in general. Then Subject expertise, I think I've dwelled much on that. I've dwelled on that. Are you passionate about the subject? So you need to be a passionate subject advocate for your subject specifically. Then the good thing with international schools is that they they make you focus on your strength, your subject strength. So like as for me, I'm trained Bachelor of Education French with history, but it's been long since I taught history. Actually, the only time I taught history was out when I was in St. Mary's School. So where my current station right now, I majorly teach French. So that is one of the advantage. One of the advantages you have when you're teaching in private schools or international schools, to be precise, especially international schools, because you will focus on the subject of your strength. So the subject expertise comes in, like as an you have to advocate for your subjects. So as a private schools, they value their teachers who are passionate advocates of their subjects. Then the second point is in this interdisciplinary connections. This is to mean, let's say you're a teacher of French. Now, how would you incorporate French with other subject? How do you incorporate French with, let's say, mathematics? How do you incorporate French with another language like German? If you how do you incorporate French with history or geography? So that is on interdisciplinary connection. So you have, as you break down your, as you do your presentations, because you find sometimes in school, some schools would want you to have a class demo, like you teach before you teach as part of the interview. Like you do the first thing, the usually stages of interviews. There's the first one, you do the oral interview. The second stage, you do the, how do you call it? There's the oral stage. Then you do the, sometimes it is written. You have to do a lesson plan. Then there's some institutions usually have class demos. Actually, I've seen it with a number of institutions nowadays. The last interview is a class demo, and I've done with a number of schools as well. So these class demos is as you present your subject. So as you're doing the preparation of a subject and you're going for an interview, you have to incorporate in one of your lessons, incorporate like another, let's say you're the connections of another subject into what you're teaching. You're teaching French. How do you, in that lesson, how do you relate it to another subject? How do you relate it to another discipline, like another subject, literally? So that is where interdisciplinary connections comes in. Then innovative teaching methods. You have to, of course, we are getting into the 22nd century. There's the use of IT a lot. Then we have artificial intelligence coming up. So you have to, how are you going to be innovative in how you deliver your lessons? So with the use of IT, you have a lot of, like the use of your laptop, with the use of um, like if you have a network in like at school. Of course, most of these institutions have Wi-Fi connections, so you have to incorporate the IT skills that you have, or rather the sites that you know that have educational tools. So you are incorporating it into your teaching, into your lesson. So you have to be more innovative in your teaching methods. You can even, like a number of schools nowadays, international schools, I'd say, we have with the AI, we have games. Like you find schools that make learning fun. Like you have this, that learning has to be fun. So there's the fun way of learning, and that is why now being innovative, especially with the kids in this century. So how innovative are you as a teacher in your teaching methods? That's another aspect. Now, on the hiring process, I have mentioned a few: the application process, the interview preparation. So the application process, majorly, we're going to look deeper into the links, or rather, that will be among the end part of the presentation. What are some of the like sites that you use to apply, or what are some of the ways you need to look out for when you're applying? That is the application process. We'll look into that deeper. Then the interview preparation. Of course, you can even have your own session in the mirror with these questions presented. And one thing I would say that stands out in most of these schools that look for teachers, like these private or international schools, one thing I've come to notice, something called child protection policy. So if you're looking forward to joining an international school, go and research more on child protection policy, because this is one of the aspects they look out for when you're looking for an opportunity to teach in these to join the institutions. So how do you have the skills in handling kids? Do you have like this the child protection policy? Are you how familiarized are you with that whole document? Because they prioritize, most of these international school prioritize child safety so much. So that is one of the questions that has been constant in all these interviews I've gone to. Then of course tell us about yourself, and as you're talking about yourself, you shouldn't dwell on how you were brought up, how you you're asked on to focus on the professional journey. Like tell us about yourself, but in the professional path. You don't have to go deeper into, oh, I'm second born, I'm first born. Some institutions will ask that, but if you're asked to talk about yourself or present yourself, dwell majorly on your professional journey. Of course, you can, as you start off, you can, if it's your first time, probably your first institution, you're just fresh from campus, you'd say you'll talk a little bit about your schooling in high school and campus, then dwell into the professional, like what you'd want to be, what you'd want to, like what if your principles align to the principles of that institution. So remember, in the interview preparation should be, you should know the institution you're going to, like you should know the school that you're going to interview with. Of course, nowadays we have schools with social media platforms. They have all their information. If you check Brayburn, it does. If you check Nova Pioneer, you'll definitely get all the information you need at the comfort of your home, because they've displayed all that in terms of, it's in a way of marketing themselves. So as you go for the interview, you shouldn't be less informed. Like you should be more informed about the institution, because that will be one of the questions, that like, why would you want to join us? So you also have to know, like, what are the reasons that you'd want to join that institution. If it is an institution that, for example, if it's a Christian institution, you'd say, I've checked the website, I've seen the school aligns itself with this, and I'd really like to work in an institution that that's connecting the kids, or that is connecting the learners, and teaching them the Christian values that they can grow up knowing. So you need to have points that align to the principles of the institution that you're doing the interview from. So that is part of the interview preparation. Then showcasing extracurriculum activities or skills. I've mentioned that, I've talked about that. Then we also have the professional development opportunities. As I've mentioned earlier, schools or other institutions, and one advantage of working in private schools, and one advantage of working in these private institutions, international schools or private schools in general, is that you'll have these professional development trainings. So you find, I'll give an example of my current station and my previous station at Nova Pioneer as well. We had PD opportunities. Like every Monday, we would have trainings. So these trainings is for your continuous growth. Like as much as, of course, if you've joined Nova Pioneer as a fresh graduate, they'll definitely know, like, you need some skills in terms of how you deliver your lessons, in terms of how you prepare your lesson plans and all that. So you'll have those opportunities. That is one of the most advantages, like one of the most advantages you have in teaching an international school, a private school generally. There's that continuous opportunities for growth. Not all private schools offer that, but if you get in an institution that doesn't offer that, be on the lookout for more opportunities. You're not limited to sticking into one institution. So we have those continuous growth opportunities or professional development trainings. Then the mentorship programs as well. You'd find most of your colleagues who are probably more skilled or more experienced. They're there to, like, offer mentorship. Then, as well as the institutions usually provide mentorship programs with individuals who are outsourced. So these individuals who are outsourced come in to offer the mentorship programs. So that is another advantage of working in like another advantage in terms of the professional development opportunities. Then collaborative learning communities. Teachers in private school often have access to collaborative learning communities where they can share ideas, resourceful best practices with their colleagues. So you find one thing I've noted with private institutions, uh, luckily, okay, I'm not sure of other institutions, but the schools that I've worked with, there's that collaboration amongst, okay, of course, there's another institution that I didn't find these collaborative, like teachers are not more collaborative. I wouldn't mention that. I wouldn't mention the institution, but you'd find a number of schools that you check out, or rather a number of private learning institutions, there's that collaborative learning community or learning environment where you find teachers are ready to help you, teachers are ready to step in and help you in navigating your way, especially if you're a new staff. There's orientation, there's like someone is assigned to work with you. You are at liberty to ask any questions. So that is another advantage in working in a private sector. Then, as I mentioned, as you're looking for, if you're looking for, if you're, as you're looking for an opportunity in a private school, be aware, be informed of what are the school values, because you find these private schools always have their, what do you call it, their values, their principles. If you check their website, all the principles, the mission of the school, the vision of the school is there. So check in the school culture, the school values, the principles, the mission, the vision, and make it like, as you're doing an interview, make sure you align those skills with your personal skills, like alignment with school values. So your school values, make sure you align them with the values of this institution. Then the community engagement, as I mentioned earlier as well, there's that bit of where teachers help each other. Then there's parents are really incorporated into the learning of the into learning in general, where you find we have a number of PTCs, or PTCs in general is in full is parent teachers conference. So there is that school has such opportunities where they engage the parents during the PTCs. Then there's alumni sessions that you find all students are coming in to just guide the other learners as well. Then there's that bit where the schools also organize for like let's say you have cultural days, you have days like book week days where you read books, invite authors. Cultural day, you celebrate cultures, different cultures, of course. So I'll give an example. These such opportunities are usually really eye-opening because you're given duties, you're assigned duties. Let's say you have cultural day, for example. As a teacher, you have, like, I'll give an example. My institution currently, we had cultural day, and I was given a country, Lebanon. So it's on me now to incorporate like my skills or the information I have on Lebanon with the learners that I have in school, come up with ideas and all that. So I'd say this is an advantage because it makes you be outgoing. It makes you to be more do more research, to go out of your way and showcase the skills that you have in terms of delivering these day, like delivering cultural day, for example. So there's that bit of community engagement with such activities like cultural day. The school like makes you as a teacher to be more proactive, to be more to be more outgoing and look out for skills, or rather be more it's really eye-opening. I'd say that it's an eye-opening opportunity. Such days like the cultural days and book days. So as an individual, I'd say they are really eye-opening. The opportunities that will boost, or rather better your skills in terms of how outgoing you are, how best could you go, or how far could you go in terms of seeking knowledge or seeking information, or to do a better presentation of the day. So that is one of the one of the advantages of teaching international schools. Then the difference in teaching methods, I'd say, So we have the customized instructions. So you find private schools can tailor make their teaching methods to suit individuals students needs. So tailor making in terms of, let's say you're teaching French, for example, and you have learners who are weak in a certain area. So you'll actually tailor make your own, like you'll have your own curriculum design, or rather lesson plan. um, then the topics as well focus on the weak areas of this learner. That is now the most advantage, the advantage of being in a private institution or an international school. We have the customized instructional preparation. Like if you're preparing a lesson plan, you have to be more specific. You also have that freedom of tailor making your own personalized learning plans or lesson plans to suit your learners, the level of your learners. So you're not fixated into this happens majorly with international schools. You're not fixated into like strictly following the topics given for that academic year or for that academic term. You have the liberty. You're at liberty to tailor make your own program, then, or rather your own program, your own lesson plans, as long as it fits and it suits every learner, every student in your class. Then we have the emphasis on critical thinking. Private schools often focus on developing critical thinking, creativity, especially on the creativity bit. As I've mentioned, with let's say you have cultural day, how creative are you as a teacher? How are you going to be creative so that you can bring out that day to be more colorful? So there's the creativity bit, then the problem solving skills in their teaching methods, providing students with enhanced analytical and decision making ability. So as much as the students are also learning, you as a teacher, you are challenged, and in a way you're also learning. So I'd say private schools usually enlighten, like they awaken you more, they awaken you further, and they push you to the wall. Like they push you to maximize your potential, maximize the skills that you have. Then the holistic and experiential learning, where they integrate holistic and experiential learning methods, incorporating the real world experiences and in the in disciplinary approaches. So this in depth, it's that you sometimes have projects. Let's say you have as you're teaching, there's that bit of every subject must have a project as well. Like there's a way you can incorporate projects. Shouldn't just be in sciences and all that, even languages as well. You can give the learners projects. So as a teacher, you need to be really outgoing, really open. Like you should be open to learning, open to more experiences, be skilled, open. The most important thing is be open to learning and exploring and just doing your personal research as well. Then more on the benefits of teaching private school, the focused learning environment. As I've said, it's more of I'll say there's inclusion. Like you have to really as you do your lesson preparation, you have to really focus on these learners, these different groups of learners: the high ability learners, the middle ability learners, and the low ability learners. So the private schools offer a focused, more focused learning environment, and another advantage is the smaller size classes. Most of if you find that private and most of international schools rather, if you find a class that has like 25 learners, they have two teachers. Like there's a main teacher, there's an assistant teacher. So the ratio of teacher to parent is low. So as a teacher, it's an advantage, because you now go out of your way to really really deliver on your subject. You have an easy task on delivering. And like institutions that you find, we have more than 30 learners in a class. You find 50 learners in a class with one teacher, 80 learners in a class. So in a private institution, the lower the number, the more you're going to be effective, like the more your lessons are going to be productive. So I'd say that is an advantage, because you are going to focus on the smaller number, the more focus you're going to have for each individual, the more personalized your lessons are going to be. Then so this fosters a deeper understanding and academic growth. Then specialized teaching opportunities. Private schools often have the resources to offer unique and specialized teaching opportunities. So I'd say in terms of resources, you're at the beginning of the term or at the end of the term, you have the liberty of making requisitions, as long as you have the like you have what do you call it? Like, the curriculum, the what to be taught in the next term. You have the curriculum design, you have the schemes of work that this coming term we're going to learn this. So you are at liberty to make special requests. It doesn't matter. Like, maybe this, yet your subject is this. I don't think there is a connection between what you're ordering and what you're teaching, the subject you're teaching. That is not what happens mostly in international schools. You make an order of a resource, as long as you're able to like break it down, and you're able to show, like, I'm going to use these of these for these. Like, it's open, you'll be able to be provided for. So there's that bit of resources are there, the materials that you need are there. There's so much at your liberty. On the other hand as well, the parents in private schools are more open to work with you. They're open to, like, hold your hand in terms of, let's say you want to order, like, you want to ask the kids to buy something. As long as there's earlier or timely requisition, the parents are open to work with you in terms of accessing these resources. So I'd say it's an advantage, because you're able to, like, incorporate have an easy time incorporating your lessons, or incorporating other subjects with your teaching, and other materials as well in your teaching profession. Then the collaborativeness in educational community, as I've said, parents are free to, like, work with you, the teachers as well, as long as you be more innovative, supportive, this supportive atmosphere for working. Not all, of course, but I'd say a number of private institutions, there's that, especially the I'll say high-end institutions. Because nowadays you have private institutions, like, every corner. You find a private school that has just started off, and it has like 5 learners, 6 learners. I don't have much of experience on that, but I know we have a number of private schools that are really struggling. So I wouldn't say that all these points applies to all private schools. High-end private schools, I'd say yes, you'd find these opportunities. You'd find those professional development training that you provided for. So my points do not apply to all private institutions. They apply to a number of them, but not all. Then the curriculum flexibility, as I've said, as a teacher, you have to be adaptive. You have to be, like, to adapt the teaching approaches. Be ready to make a lesson plan that is more differentiated according to the abilities of your learners. Then the student-centered environment, I've mentioned that as well. Class size, student ratio, I've mentioned that. Then the professional autonomy. This is I've also talked about this, where you find, as a teacher, you majorly focus on what's your strength. You are a teacher of French and maybe CRE. What is your strength? So in private institutions, especially international institutions, you're asked your strength, and as you do your interview as well, they know you're coming in as a teacher of a specific subject. And of course, if you're coming in, you say I'm a teacher of French and Kiswahili, but what is your strength? So you find a number of institutions will want you to measure on your strength. And if you measure on your strength, you're more productive, other than teaching all. Some institutions you get in, you teach even 5 subjects, and you're trained for 2 subjects. So I'd say not all private institutions as well, but a number of them, a number of international schools rather, there's that professional autonomy. Like, you'd focus on your your strength, your more stress, you like your stronghold. You focus on where you are at your best, where you present best, or where you deliver the best. Exactly, that's the term. Then, as I've mentioned, the facilities in a school are really key. Like, most international schools give you the opportunity, the skills, the facilities are there, the resources are there. Then the collaborative nature of like faculty culture. You find there's that collaborativeness with the students, the teachers, the parents as well. Professional growth opportunities, mentorship as well, I've mentioned. Then resources, this is just more of repetition, parental involvement and support, the collaboration of the parent, the engagement of the parents, communication as well. Then another thing with communication, as a teacher in a private institution, you need to have communication skills. I don't know if Maseno offers communication skills, but This is something as well you learn on your way. You learn as you progress in this life. So communication skills are very, very important. Like how do you pass information from like to your students? How do you pass information to the learners, to your colleagues? So there has to be an effective communication channel that ensures parents are well informed and involved in their child's academic progress, creating a collaborative, nurturing educational environment. Then the engagement, as I've mentioned, engagement with parents and as a community as well. There are those events. Let's say you have the cultural day. How does the school engage the community? Like you find, for example, if it's cultural day, an international school or a private school rather, there's that in we find we have different learners from different backgrounds, different countries. So as you're celebrating cultural day, there's that involvement of the embassy. So I'd say it's an advantage in that as a teacher who's at the forefront in ensuring that these days are success. So you have the opportunity to interact with these embassies, of course, with the information of rather with the help of the school, because you can't just go there as an individual. You have to go in the name of the school. So there's that bit as an advantage in that the schools involves the community in terms of, let's say it's cultural day as an example I'm giving. You're having cultural day, you're representing the United States, you're asked by the school to go to the embassy. So in a way, it's a brilliant, it's really building your network. Like you as a teacher, you're taking it up positively, picking up the day, um, picking up the day, like it's your day, it's your country you're representing. So it's on you now. You're at liberty to make the day as successful as you can, and the fact that you're at liberty to engage the embassy. It's a networking platform. It's a platform that like puts you out there, and you have to be more proactive and take it as I'd say take it as an advantage so that you can grow your network as well. I've talked about engagement in school community. Then now, where these are the opportunities you need to look out for, or the sites you need to look out for when you're looking for opportunities in international schools. Uh, like if you're looking for chances of teaching in international schools, rather. So we have, for example, the first point I've mentioned is the PGCI program. So this PGCI program it's a program offered by Braeburn International School. Just a minute, sorry. So the PGCI program, it's offered by Braeburn International Schools in collaboration with Nottingham University. So we find, with PGCI, in full, it's postgraduate certificate in education for international schools. Postgraduate certificate in education international schools program. So with this program, mostly it's announced on the newspapers. Braeburn initially announces in the newspapers. I tried it once, but I didn't get the opportunity. I failed at the last stage. I didn't fail, I'd say that. I think, okay, we had other individuals who were more qualified, probably, or presented themselves more or in a better way. But I'd say as young as you are, fresh from college, don't limit yourself into don't limit yourself into institutions that are not well established. Like be like dream further. Don't just limit yourself into small institutions. So and be on the lookout always, because we find this program is usually announced on newspapers. Most of Braeburn opportunities for PGCI, it's usually announced on the newspapers. So it's a program, it's an international program. It's a program to teach international schools offered at Braeburn International School, especially the Braeburn in Gitanga Road. Then they usually in collaboration with Nottingham University. So I have the links. I can share them later in the chat bot. Then, or you can actually just take a photo or link it, or check the links later. So there's that program, and for this program, I'd say you take it up or you look out for it as young as you are, because it gets to a point that you're limited to some opportunities. So I'll give an example. So for PGCI program, It's of they usually they don't pay, I'd say, but they say they'll give you a stipend. So this stipend is not something that you'd say you'd yeah, like you'd survive on, for example. So they'd say they give you 10,000 Kenyan shillings. 10,000 Kenyan shilling, that is literally like a house rent for a bed sitter. So I would say take up these opportunities as young as you are. Then you can be hosted, or you can collaborate with a friend, or be hosted with a friend and take it up. So it's an opportunity that when you get to a certain age, it will be so hard for you to take it up, because you're thinking of, how do I have to resign for my do I have to resign my job? Do I have to like okay, do I have to literally resign my job? Because looking at this, it's a good opportunity, yes, but now you're not getting paid. But at the end of it all, it's a 1 year program. At the end of it all, you'll have the skills, you'll have the uh, like certificate to venture into an international school easily. So look out for that program. Majorly, it's announced in the newspapers, but if you check their page, they'll always share Instagram pages, Facebook pages. So just be on the lookout for such opportunities. Then we have Riera University offers a course on international school, which is it's usually in full. It's usually, is it curriculum of international teaching in something like that, but it's usually offered at Riera University. You find some teachers take it up so that they can get into international schools. Then let me just go back to this Riera University course. So you'll find someone tell you, like, if you don't have to take the course to step into an international school. Then someone else will tell you, like, you have to take up the course to, like, you have to take up the course so that you get into an international school. So my advice would be, if you have the money to do the course, do it. If you don't, be on the lookout. You can also have the money, but then you may be discouraged, like, if I do it, it's not like a guarantee I'll get a job. But even if you have the money of doing the course at Riara, the international course, be on the lookout for institutions that take up individuals, even if they don't have that the papers to join an international school. Then we have TESS as well. It's a platform where you can be able to just fill in your details, CV, all about yourself, and then they'll be sending in, as long as you put the alert on, sending in information of private schools in Kenya, outside the country, in Kenya and out of the country. So be on the lookout for these opportunities. There's that test, there's the International Alliance Group, there is PACT, and there's FACES. So I think I've also done a presentation on that. Then finally, and the most important thing is network. Network. I don't know how I'll repeat this. I'll repeat it several times as I can. Network, like, know someone, let people know what you do. Be more vocal, be more proactive. Whichever gathering you are at, whichever ceremony, whichever gathering rather you are in, let people know what you do. Network. That is how you literally network. So through connection, or rather, I wouldn't say I wouldn't use the word connection, rather, but be connected. Be connected. When you say connection, it comes out differently, like you getting a job because you know someone. No, networking in terms of if someone knows what you do, they'll send you an opportunity if they come across it, and that is what has happened to me. Like, my friends know I teach French. I do French is my thing, so they see opportunities, they forward it to me. They see opportunities, they forward it to me. So network, let people know what you do, be vocal, be proactive. That is how you're going to survive in the field, in the job seeking field. So I'll end my presentation at that. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That was so rich. Now, wow.
Sorry for that.
Okay. Thank you. No. It was so interesting. And you see the thumbs up. Everyone is happy about this presentation. Really, you really opened our eyes. Myself, I don't have any experience in teaching, and private schools, but I remember I think I did a month or two when I was standing in for a teacher at Jalaram Academy in
Oh, Jalaram.
Kisumu. Yeah, but I found that that environment is so different from our public schools. It is so nice to be part of that. International sort of culture, learning, teaching environment. People are so friendly,
Mhm.
the students are so disciplined generally, and so on and so forth. So I think we have about 20 minutes to go, so I will invite students if you have a question to ask. um, but before I give this chance to the students, Christine, how long have you taught at the Nairobi International School?
This is my fourth month.
Fourth month. Eh?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Um, okay, back to you, students. Some of you can also just post questions on the chat. If you have a question, just raise up your hand and you'll have the opportunity to ask. Okay, Latifa.
Bonjour.
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 I'd like to ask, is TSC number very important
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
in the private sector?
Uh-huh. Thank you, thank you. I think I'll note down the questions, then answer them in general, or how do I go about this? Okay, let me just answer
Depending
that.
on
Mm-hmm.
you can just answer it. Yeah,
Okay, let me
you
go.
need a TS number to work in an international school.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Latifa, for your question. So yes, TSC number is very important. Remember, I mentioned what do you call it? Child protection policy. So this is in essence that okay, most international schools prioritize the child safety. So this is why the TSC number comes in. Like with the TSC number, one, you are a professional teacher. It states you're a professional teacher. Two, it states that you are at liberty to engage the learners, doesn't matter the age. So the TSC number is there to on those most. I majorly see it on those two occasions. One, you have the you're qualified to teach. You're qualified to interact with the learners. Then another thing as well is you are professionally certified to teach in Kenyan schools. So those are the two, and most international schools, I'd say yes, it is a must. It is needed, especially if you are a Kenyan. It is needed. Of course, we have international schools that employ expatriates, people who are not Kenyans, but for them they have their own qualification, or rather the thing they look at. They don't have TSC number, Kenyan TSC numbers, but they have qualifications, rather numbers from their own countries. So yes, schools would want you to have a TSC number. But I'd say for private schools, some private schools will take you up, even if you don't have a TSC number, because as long as you are a qualified teacher. I've also seen some of my friends teach when they didn't take education, they just did bachelors of arts. But now, as you get into these institutions, they take you up, but then you have to assure them that by this particular time, I'll have gotten a TSC number, or by this particular time, I'll have gone to school and pursued education course so that I can get a TSC number. So yes, you can be taken in without a TSC number, but you'll be given some limited time or some period of time to have it. So yes, it's compulsory, especially if you're a teacher in Kenya. Yeah. Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you. Another question? For somebody who has done BA and they want to teach in private schools, what should they do?
So I'd say, okay, one thing with private schools, we have a number of private schools who are taking in individuals even without TSC number. Though it's a risk on the school, it's also a risk on the individual. So you find, okay, a number of people I know, okay, learners, okay, not learners, classmates, my classmates rather, former classmates. They did Bachelor of Arts, General Arts, French, but then they would want to teach. So you just do your applications, because you find you go into a panel and you find other individuals who have B.Ed, but then you presented yourself well, you've shown confidence in your delivery of the subject. So some institutions will see that and they'll take you in, but they'll give you some period of time to have the TSC number. Then you find, okay, the one way other people individuals go is like there's that PGCI program, as I've mentioned. The PGCI program doesn't limit you into, like, doesn't limit someone who has done education, because I've seen, okay, their opening this year was like, it was more on, as long as you're passionate about teaching, you'd want to dwell into teaching. So there's that opportunity called that the PGCI program. There's also the Riara University course. You'll be taken in as long as you show passion in teaching or you want to dwell into teaching. Then some people also go back to pursue an education course, because I know with PGCI, I don't think you can get a TSC number. With the Riara, that course, I don't think you can get a TSC number. So the only solution you have is to go back to school and pursue a course in education. Could be a diploma course or a certificate course, as long as you want to get the TSC number. So that's what I've seen work for a number of people. Yeah.
Okay, Isaac.
Yeah, maybe to just add on the TSC number, now that TSC number is a requirement, that as a teacher you should basically have that number. For those who have not done education, there is I think we might be knowing of TTC, which actually offers a postgraduate diploma in education. So with a postgraduate diploma in education, somebody now can be able to apply for a TSC number. But the only people I know who equally have a challenge are maybe these are our friends who have come maybe from Congo, from Cote d'Ivoire, who are in West Africa, who are staying in Kenya. They can just enroll for a postgraduate diploma in education.
Yeah, that's the program.
Especially B2, kindly make sure you have those certificates. They really add weight onto your application.
Yes.
All right. I saw Latifa's hand at some point.
Okay, I had another question.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to salary, are you paid according to the number of students, or just how it's the school which decides how much they're going to pay you?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for your question. So I'd say it depends. Like my first institution in Nairobi, that's Jabali Christian Schools. I was a part-time teacher. So with part-time, the agreement is uh, you'll be paid according to the number of lessons you have in a week. So I'd find I have like 7 lessons in a week. The pay was even better than a number of teachers who are fully employed there. So I'd say, of course, the advantages and disadvantages. For a teacher who is fully employed there has other benefits like the medical cover and all that. So as a part-time teacher, your contract wouldn't be the same as the others, but it's now on you to say, like, this is the value of what I'm bringing to the table. Are you able to give me this? So as you of course you'll be asked a question in an interview, like, how much would you want us to pay you? So if you ask that question, remember you should have a background information about that institution you're looking for a job in. So before you go for the interview, know the background of the institution, like what salary, what's the salary range? You, of course, sometimes you might not know, but if you look at, okay, I'd say with experience, you'd look at an institution, how they present themselves on social media, on their website. You'd actually know, like, you can tell how the range of pay. So be vigilant, be informed with a number of other institutions as well. With just be informed in the field that you want to pursue, so that when you go for the interview, you say, "This is what these are my qualifications. This is what I'd want to get paid. This is how I'd want to get paid." So sometimes you find yourself in a